Well, guys, that sucked. So shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video, man. Now the Jags, for the first time, even dating back to the preseason, have officially lost the game against the spread. The Jaguars are now 1-1 on the season, both straight up as well as against the spread. And I actually thought that the Jaguars would lose this game. However, I did pick the Jaguars to cover the 3.5-point spread. So I'm now 1-1 on my picks against the spread this year on BetUS. Now, if you guys want to get in on the fun, man, lots of different games to really get on the fun, on the action of, tomorrow night, there's 2 Monday Night Football games. If you guys are uninterested, that might spark your interest a little bit, man. BetUS is going to match your first deposit by 125%. So if you drop $100, you're going to see $225 show up in your account. So big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Now, I guess we got to talk about this game. Now, the tough thing about this game was not only was it an opportunity to get another win, but it was really an opportunity to tell the NFL that we're legit and we squandered it. I mean, the Jaguars really had an opportunity to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs, and while they only lost by one possession, they lost the game in just not a very fun way. Now, we thought this game was going to be a shootout. Everyone was predicting, I think it's 31-28. I think it's 28-24. I think it's some high number game where it's just like touchdowns galore. It was not like that, man. The Jaguars lost 17-9, failing to even score a touchdown on the day. Now, the tough thing about this is now the Jaguars have dropped 8 games in a row to the Kansas City Chiefs. Doug Peterson is now, I think, 0-4 against Andy Reid. And for whatever reason, man, it's just a bad matchup for us. We just don't get up and play well against the Kansas City Chiefs. And, man, it's been since 2009 since we have defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. It is just, pretty rough. Now, where do we begin in this game? Where do we begin? I guess we can start off with the defense, man. Defense was outstanding. I have no complaints on the defense, man. You only gave up 17 points to the best quarterback in the NFL, and, you're making him feel uncomfortable. You got 3 turnovers on the defense. They forced they had 12 penalties offensively. The other side, there were 12 penalties committed against the Jaguars. They were bothering Mahomes all day. And look, just a lot of different players were making plays. I mean, you saw Trayvon Walker making plays, like Josh Allen was out there. Devin Lloyd, Andre Cisco had an interception. Darius Williams forced a fumble. And look, even Kayvon Chason got a sack today. Look, when Kayvon Chason is getting a sack, that the defense is completely eating. And, the Jaguars, the defense did really as good as they could have. I have no complaints on a defensive end. Would have liked to maybe get a stop on Patrick Mahomes at the end of the game. But, what was our offense really going to do with the ball? Now, let's shift gears offensively, man. It was just bad. Offensively, we were just bad, man. And look, at some point, I'll probably have a conversation about this week, but we're going to have a little bit of conversation about Press Taylor because just the offense, just the play calling, first of all, is bad. I mean, none of us are a fan at all about the play calling. And overall, just the offense is so clunky. We have all these different playmakers out there, and it just doesn't feel like we ever get into like a really good rhythm. And clearly this game, we never got into a rhythm. I mean, we were getting some chunk plays here and there, but there was really no long 7-minute drive that ended in a touchdown. I mean, we didn't have any drives in touchdowns, man. We only got field goals, and it was just, if you're trying to get field goals against the Chiefs, I don't know if any team in the Patrick Mahomes era has ever beaten the Chiefs by just getting, field goals. And it was going to happen this game, man. We didn't have a run game to start. ETN had 12 attempts for 40 yards rushing, at 3.3 yards per carry. So not a great game from ETN. And look, the pass game, like I said, it had its chunks. Christian Kirk had a very, very good game. 11 receptions for 110 yards. Ingram had 6 receptions for 57 yards. And then Ridley, only 2 receptions for 32 yards. Ridley was, Spagnuolo really took Ridley out of this game. And, Trevor and him just couldn't, find any kind of connection this game. And it just, T-Law, Trevor Lawrence this game, just not great numbers-wise. 54% passing, 216 yards zero touchdowns, zero interception, and look, the offensive line right now just isn't playing very well. And like Chris Jones was just manhandling us. And look, I don't watch enough Chiefs games to know about this, but like, man, Chris Jones, they were lining him up on Anton Harrison, and man, Chris Jones was just manhandling him. And look, Trevor Lawrence this game, like he was getting hit pretty early, and there were times where he probably should have either thrown it away or just not taken a sack. And there were all kinds of drops this game, and the offensive line just wasn't getting any push. On the offense, it's hard to really blame one person just because overall, just no one was playing well. I mean, Christian Kirk, while he put up 110 yards receiving, he still had some bad drops. I remember one on the first drive, a bad drop that forced us to punt, and it just wasn't a clean game. And look, I know everyone says like the heat, it's going to be an advantage to us, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of ready to get this shade on in Jacksonville because you had like Zay Jones dealing with cramps. You had, I think, another player dealing with cramps this game, and like actually it was ETN that was dealing with cramps, I think. And like, yeah, I don't know, man. Just the heat, I think it does play a factor, and I don't know how much it really helps us, but yeah, overall, like the offense just, I think we're had to have a conversation about Press Taylor because look, if this thing doesn't get changing pretty quickly, I think Doug Peterson's going to take a lot more control, over this team. So yeah, I mean, look, and the thing about the Jaguars is right now, dude, I do think we have great players. I do think that we're a great team. Look, we lost to the defending Super Bowl champions by one possession. It kind of happens, and yeah, like right now, when you look ahead to the schedule, there's some tough games coming up. And look, next week the Jaguars play, the Texans in Jacksonville. That's a must win just because when you look ahead to the schedule, you have the Falcons and the Bills coming up in London. Both those games are going to be very tough. So, you got to be able to defeat the Texans at home. But overall, man, I think I need some time to digest this game just because it was just one of those games where it's just not a very fun watch, in one of those days where, how much do I really love football? Because that was just not enjoyable. It didn't have a lot of really excitement, not to cheer about when it comes to, because we watch football for, offense and touchdowns. But overall, a lot of Jaguar fans are absolutely freaking out. I'm not freaking out. Look, it's a 17-game season. We're just 2 games in. We're going to be a completely different team in December and hopefully in January. So, yeah, we're going to take this one, learn from it, figure out what we're going to do offensively. And look, like I said, I think all the talent is good on this team. Got to figure something out with the offensive line. Hopefully when Cam Robinson comes back, that's a huge addition. Really, but it seems like the right side of the line is the thing that's really struggling. So I don't know. But like I said, I think we have a good team. I'm not freaking out that much. It's a week-to-week league. We're going to learn from it. We're still pretty young when it comes to, like the Jaguars got hot later on last year, then, did all their things. So, yeah, we're going to learn. We'll be good. I think we're going to be all right. I'll just say that. So let me know your thoughts of this game. Sorry for the, big clunker of a disappointment. But, we are Jags fans. We've been through a lot worse. So, 1 week until Houston Texans, division AFC South game. So let's take them down and hopefully move on to 2-1. So thank you guys so much for watching. Go Jags.